Okay. Hello, YouTube. I've missed you. I only posted one video for the whole of January, and I apologize for that, okay? But I was in a dark place, as I am for most of January all the time, okay? It's dark time is January, and I tend to go into a bit of a hibernation, okay? But, as is the way, every time, bring it round, February hits, and suddenly, I can feel myself emerging, okay? It's a short month, first of all, and at the end of it is March. But bam, it's basically spring, okay? And in emerging, from my hibernation, I have some projects on my minds. What? Spring projects, okay? Should I talk about it? Some of them are like, projects. Some of them are just like thoughts I'm having that I want to carry forward into spring, thinking a lot about and like reading more about. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so first thing, let's just get on it. Okay, in my hibernation, I was reading a lot about like normalizing complex emotions. Okay, so like stick with me here, okay? It's basically, I'm in a dark place, I'm having a lot of feelings, and I sort of come across a bunch of these things where other people are having deep feelings, and it's about like normalizing deep feelings. Okay, like how culture and society, they're like, hun, are you okay? Because you've had a bit of a break, okay? You're expressing some feelings, okay? And how dare we express our feelings? Is there something wrong with us, okay? And even as well, I was just talking to my friend about this. Like, my friend who I'm like, I'm into, she's cool. Even she was like, oh, I don't cry as much as I used to. And like, are you okay? Like, are you having like some hormonal problems? I was like, yes, this is exactly what society tells us to do to each other. Like, you are talking about crying a lot, and like, are you okay? Like, of course you're okay. You just, sometimes people cry, okay? I specifically cry quite a lot, and this is the whole point of the project, okay? So I saw this like TikTok or something where this girl, she wrote down every time she cried in a year, and then she did it as like a graph presentation. She was like, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And it was like, I cried this many times this year, and so percentage was in this month, and so percentage was a level 3, and blah blah blah. And I thought, that's brilliant, because it was like hashtag like normalize, like strong emotions, or normalize crying, or normalize, like complex emotions and crap like that. And then I was sort of like reading more and more about it, and this one thing I was reading was on about like the slow, like insidious broadening of the term of a Karen. Do you know what I mean? So, or this like type of woman who cries for like attention, or like manipulation. Like she has like a whole scene in a store, and then just like plays the victim and like cries, and like just to get what she wants and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm not saying that those people don't exist. Like, I have the internet. I've seen that they do exist. Like, people sort of just making huge scenes to get what they want. But I think this thing was on about, we need to be careful who we include in this group of people who are Karens, If it's just someone crying in a store, like, not all women crying in a store about store things are Karens. Sometimes they're just people who have complex emotions, and they're sort of struggling with having complex emotions, and also with society pressing back on them, telling them that there's something wrong with them for having complex emotions. And I sort of think about it, I think on a scale or whatever of like, 0 to 10 of like emotion, where 0 is like the absolute bottom feeling, and like 10 is like the absolute best feeling. I think for me, and I think, for a lot of people, more people than you'd think, if I'm not like between like a 4 and like a 6 on the scale, like this like point in the middle where I'm experiencing 0 emotion, then I'm crying, okay? Like anywhere like under that in the sadness zone, or above that in the happy zone, like I'm crying. And I think that it's something that there's more people like that than we think, or that we know of, but society tells us to pretend like we're not like that, to try to better ourselves by being less like that, by controlling ourselves more. And it's like, why? Like, I'll sort of say, something to my husband or whatever, I'll be like, oh, and then I cried about that, and he'll be like, it's a stupid reason to cry. And it's like, don't ever say reasons to cry are stupid reasons to cry. There are no stupid reasons to cry. If it made you cry and it was a legitimate reason to cry, and you felt legitimately like crying, it's not a stupid reason to cry. Just because you have like the emotional levels of a snail, okay? Other people feel things, and it's okay to feel things. Anyway, okay, so my project for the year, I think I'm gonna do what that girl did where she writes down every time she cries. And I started it not like at smack at the beginning, but I remembered I wrote down in my journal like the first time I cried in the year, and then I don't think that I cried before then other than that. So I think I have a legitimate tally of the number of times that I've cried up until now, and it's 9. It's 9 times I've cried, 2 of which were just me like watching a show or something. Like one time it was the episode of The Crown where the bagpiper plays that like lament for the fallen soldier, but he does it for the queen, and all the English people are like walking around the castle like closing the doors because it's like a loud din or whatever, but all the Scottish people doing like the lowly jobs, they like stop and they're like really emotional about it and they like start singing along, and it's like really hitting them hard. Like I was already feeling cold and a bit down, and that just broke me. Like I cried. Like another time I was listening to, you know, that song by Carrie Underwood that's like I Will See You Again, where the music video is just basically a bunch of like home videos of people seeing their soldier family members again after they've like been to war or they've been on deployment or something like that. And there's like the toddler like running to her daddy, and her daddy's like all in like the military outfit, and he like scoops up. Okay, like I'm including those in because I did really cry, okay? But they're also included in with things where I really cried, you know? Like I was really ill last week and I was just like festering and my head was banging and I just like had a bit of like a fester cry. Do you know what I mean? But I'm gonna turn it into, are you ready? Like a watercolor type, like zine journal type thing. So it's gonna be called I Cried Blank Times in 2024. So at the end of the year, if it was like loads, whatever the number is, I'm not shaming myself now, okay? If it's hundreds, which it might be, it's going in there, okay? I cried like, you know, 100 times in 2024 or whatever. And then each page thing is gonna be a time I cried, and it's gonna sort of say on a scale, okay? So this is the one where it was in The Crown. It's a scale of 1, okay, because it was just a TV show. But then also have like the occurrence and the date, and just like a quick sort of like how long I cried for. Was it like, you know, a full day? Was it just like a couple minutes, blah blah? And then just like a brief sort of reason why, not like super long, just sort of little. And I'm gonna do it for all of them. So I've done 2 of them, so I'm gonna finish out up until like I've done 9 this year. Hopefully I won't cry again before I finish the rest of the 9 pages, and then every time I cry from then on I'm gonna add it, and then I guess I can make it into a zine or something. Like I can sort of photocopy each of the things, turn it into a booklet and make it into a zine, or like stick it in my actual journal or something like that and like have it for a while. Or with that info, I can then do like a presentation spreadsheet thing like that girl on the TikTok did, which I think would be, I don't know, really good. Like, yeah, just to sort of say, like, I feel like I'm a reasonable person, you know, I have a job, I have a family, like, I have friends, I'm not super over emotional, I'm just a normal human being. And yeah, I cried like this many times in 2024. Anyway, next thing. Hold on. Okay, so last project, right, is books for various holidays. Okay, so I am going on holiday absolutely loads this year, and loads of them are like coming up really soon. And I was in my like hibernation bubble and I was like, don't talk to me about holidays because I'm only thinking about awful things, blah blah. But now I've emerged and I'm like, what am I gonna read, bro? Okay, so first one, we're going to Disney World for my kid's birthday next week, right? How'd that happen? That just came up and bit me right in the ass. Okay, let's go. Disney World. What am I gonna read for Disney World? And here's where I need Rex as well, okay? Like people like lay it on me. How do you feel? But for Disney World at the minute, I'm thinking Swamplandia by Karen Russell. A couple people have told me this is good previously, and I was like, maybe. I know it's quite big, but I think it might be perfect. In this big-hearted, phantasmagoric novel, 13-year-old Ava Bigtree journeys through the haunted, otherworldly landscape of the Everglades on a quest to save Swamplandia, her family's embattled gator wrestling theme park. So, you know, it's theme park related, and also Florida related, and also sounds like a Scream, okay? And then, also potentially, like maybe I need 2, because they're big, I think. Okay. Then there's like this sort of thriller type one. I don't know how I feel about this one because I don't want to feel stressed. Okay, I don't want to get in my head about stuff. But this one is Welcome to Fantastic Land. Fantastic Land, I think is the name of it. By Mike Bakoven. Don't know how you say that. A massive, immersive Disney-esque theme park in Florida where fun is guaranteed until a once-in-a-lifetime hurricane cuts the park off from the rest of the world and its whimsical themes and helpful employees turn deadly. Okay? Like, again, I don't know how I feel about, is this gonna, like, trigger me on my holiday? Okay, so this one's something about Florida. So then, I'm going to Montenegro with Karen, a roving reader, and Marcella. I think hers is Marcella in the books, like that. I'll post it. We are going to go on a Balkans journey, and I couldn't think of any books, but Marcella, I think, dropped one in and was like, guys, how about this one? Balkan Bombshells? Contemporary Women's Writing from Serbia and Montenegro. Like, I'll put that up here. Like, I was going through it, and I think it looks really nice. It might be hard to get a hold of, though. I don't know. It looks pretty good. Okay, and then the one after that. No, that's the one. Skip that. There's one in the middle, which is Australia. Okay? For real, though. Like, my friend, her boyfriend's in a band. He's in a punk band, and his band is like going to tour Australia and New Zealand, and she was like, I want to go, but girlfriends have been like banned from the tour. I think like some girlfriends in the past have not acted themselves. So she's not allowed to go with the band, but she wants to like go. So we're going to go on a road trip and like follow them, like be their roadies or whatever. Anyway, I'm thinking, should I get books that are like band themed? Road trip themed, possibly. Like, I saw a couple over like my hibernation period where they were like, are you on a road trip? You should read this book, blah, blah. Or Australia themed. I'm thinking more like Australia themed because then it'll give me a good reason to go back and go through and stalk Natalie. First of all, she does loads of like reading Australian works and like Australian award winners and stuff like that. And also gunpowder fiction and plot. That would be a good excuse to sort of just troll through that one for a while and find some good ones, because I know he puts loads of good Australian ones on his. But what are your thoughts? Any good things? Lay them on me. Also, I'm going to Spain, to Sitges, for a stag do for my friend who's getting married. And I'm only going a long weekend. It's like a Friday to a Monday stag do, like bachelor party. So I probably only need one book, but I remember having a hard time finding a Spain related book previously. So maybe that could be like a stag themed one instead, like a bachelor party themed book. But is that just gonna piss me off? Because this isn't like a proper bachelor party, it's a gay bachelor party. You know, I feel like I'm not here for like bachelor party vibes. You know what I mean? But yeah, hit me up. What are your thoughts? Let me know. Okay, that's the end. I apologize for another really random, wild, long, rambling video. But we will get back to more normal stuff. Shall we do like a lunch break book chat of like actual books next time? And we'll do it like literally next week. You know, not ages from now. Like, we'll be real and we'll do it in a normal amount of time. I read an absolute shit ton in January in my snooze pod situation. Not a lot of them can be reported back because they were a bit shit, also a bit like whatever, but a couple of good ones, so we'll have a light chat about that next time, shall we? Okay, if you have any thoughts at all about any of these projects, about literally anything, please let me know. I promise it will not be ages before I respond to your comment. You're gonna comment and I'm gonna reply immediately like that. It's gonna be like boom, like it used to be, cause like I'm back, I promise. Okay, she's back. She's in the mindset for like living her life now. Okay, thank you for watching. I love you so much. I'll see you next time.